Hello guys, TavHD here and welcome back to another video, and today we will be taking a look at this graphics card which I was given. I know nothing about it apart from the fact that it is an ATI Radeon 4650 1GB with GDDR2 memory, but apart from that I have no idea what it is. I've done some research online and I think I've come to the conclusion that this is a power colour model, but there are different models which have VGA on the back. This one has two DVIs and what appears to be an S-video, but the ones online that I saw have a VGA instead of the S-video, and they also have the power colour logo on the fan. But apart from that, this looks identical to the power colour model, so I'm going to assume that it is one of those. So today we're going to take a look and see if this thing works and see how well it performs in 2020. And if I'm correct, I believe this card came out in 2008, so it is 12 years old now, I believe, so it will be interesting to see how this thing performs today. One thing I've noticed is just how dusty this fan is. I'm not sure whether that will hinder the performance at all. I'll run it as it is, but then if it's sounding loud at all or it starts to get hot, I'll try cleaning it and see if that helps, but hopefully this should be fine as it is. At the bottom here you can see that this is the 1GB model. It also appears that there was a 512MB one as well, but this has a little dot next to the 1GB which shows us that it is that variant. So I believe that on the back of the card that is the model number. There's also some more numbers up there. I'm not sure what those mean. There is also some more at the bottom, but I believe that is just the serial number. So there really isn't much to go off, as I have searched that number there and all it comes up with is the power colour one, so we'll assume that that's what it is for this video. So now we've taken a quick look at the card, I'm going to put it inside of the CEX gaming PC and load up 3D Mark, and we'll take a look at how this thing performs. Okay, here we are. I've just put the graphics card inside the computer. I'm not sure if you can see, but there it is. It doesn't really fit in very well. The red PCB doesn't really go with the silver of the motherboard, but oh well. This card will not be staying in here for very long. It'll just be here for the purpose of this video. So I'm going to turn on the computer now and we'll see what happens. Okay, that fan was very loud. That's definitely a noticeable sound. And it seems to be working. We are getting a display output on the monitor there. Okay, so the computer is of course on and the graphics card is working, but that fan is a lot louder than I thought it would be. Whether that's because the drivers aren't installed yet or not, I'm not sure, but it's definitely pushing a lot of air, that little fan, and the card does seem to be getting a little bit hot. So once I've got the drivers all sorted, if the fan doesn't calm down a bit, we may have to clean it. Okay, so I'm on the AMD drivers website, so I've just had a look and it looks like they do still have support for the Radeon HD 4650. So I'm going to submit that, and they don't have any for Windows 10. Now I am on Windows 10 and the latest they've got is for Windows 8. Now I'm going to install that. I'll get the 64-bit one. And this was released back in 2013, so it doesn't look like they've supported this for quite some time now, but I'll give it a download and see what happens. I'll leave this to download and then I'll come back once it's done so. Okay, the download has finished. Do you want to allow this app to make changes? Yes. I'm not sure if this will work or not, but let's just try installing it and see what happens. Now, I'm not exactly sure because it's not designed for Windows 10, but there's only one way to find out. Okay, the software has opened, and this is actually a really old version of the software. I've actually never seen this version before. This is interesting. Yet we want to install. Right, okay. Let's just do Express. I don't know why I'm clicking next. Let's accept this. Yes, right, so now it's going to analyse the system and then hopefully install the appropriate drivers. Okay, the installation has completed, but some warnings occurred during the installation, so let's view the log and see exactly what this was all about. Okay, so here's the log. This just has all the information. It says AMD display driver final status failed. Everything else appears to have been a success apart from the display driver, and it's not installed for matching devices, so I'm assuming that that's because of the version of Windows we are running. So I'll close that and we'll just finish and see what happens. So we now have the AMD Vision Engine Control Center here. Let's open that and see if there's anything we can do from in there. Okay, so that's opened now, but it's only showing me information about the CPU, and that's because the display driver, for whatever reason, didn't work. So this software is kind of completely useless. This is just telling me things about the CPU that I already know, so that is a complete waste of time, and we cannot get the correct drivers for this. I'll check in Windows Update and see if there's anything there. I'll look in the devices section, but if not, then we can't really do much with this. Okay, so I've just had a quick look and it appears that there is no way to get the drivers working on Windows 10. So at some point in the future I'll probably try this out again on Windows 8 or earlier. I'm not too sure, but for now let's try running 3D Mark anyway and see what happens. And it's worth mentioning that this is a 1600 by 900 resolution monitor, and right now it is only running at 1024 by 768, so yeah, that's nowhere near the resolution it should be running at, but there's not really much we can do about that. So let's launch 3D Mark. I've only got the demo version unfortunately, but I'll let it choose the most appropriate test to run on here, and then we'll see how that goes. Okay, so 3D Mark has just opened and it says no compatible benchmark found. Please make sure you have the compatible graphics card and graphics drivers installed. Now of course we don't, but it is recognizing the card as a Radeon HD 4600 series running at 600 MHz. So we're going to go to benchmarks and we're going to choose one if it will let us, but it says that you are unable to run this, and they all say that next to them. So unfortunately we cannot do a 3D Mark benchmark with this graphics card on this computer running Windows 10. So for this video that is really it. I can't really do much more right now. I'll have to install Windows 8 or 7 on here to hopefully get it working, but at least this graphics card does seem to be working right now. It's outputting fine, it seems to be running Windows just fine without the drivers, but we can't really benchmark it or play any games. So that's kind of a shame, but oh well, I can make another video about it in the future. Just before I go, I just want to say that this card has got extremely hot already. Now it's not been doing anything demanding at all, it's just been running Windows, and that is maybe a little bit concerning. So if there is a part 2 to this at some point, I will definitely be cleaning the dust off it and maybe reapplying the thermal paste, so stay tuned for that. Thank you and goodbye.